And it happened that while he was with them at table, he took bread, said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to them. Good morning on this Thursday, April 30th. Father Walter Wagner here with Brother Hyacinth Grubb at the shrine of St. Vincent Ferrer in the Church of St. Vincent Ferrer in the Parish of St. Vincent Ferrer and St. Catherine of Siena. And it's also the feast of Pope St. Pius V, another great Dominican. You and I have been walking through this week with Jesus. This week, accompaniment is the word we take through the week. And we have seen Jesus walk with his followers along the road to Emmaus, listening to their trauma and responding to it by opening the scriptures to them. And we have seen that the effect of that, the effect of his accompaniment, is to cause them to make a response, to shift their position and ask him to stay with them, to overcome the barriers of the moment, the fear of the moment, and invite a stranger in. And we understand that in this series of movements, we are understanding our baptismal life centered on the Eucharist. We walk through life, through its ups and downs, through its perplexities and pains and joys, aware that we are accompanied. And then, at Mass, we sit down, and Jesus responds to us by opening the Scriptures and showing us the works of God. And then we too, like the two disciples on the road, want to make a response. And thus it is that at Mass, the liturgy of the Word prompts our Eucharistic worship. What Jesus does now is give us shape to the response we are to give as we enter into the worship, the pattern of worship that is proper to the time after the resurrection. So there are four very careful movements, four movements that Luke is careful to note. Jesus took bread, said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to his disciples. Take, bless, break, give. Those are the essentials of the life of worship, the life of communion that we are to have with him. So look at what he's doing. He's taking bread. The bread he takes represents all of the works of God. It represents the work of creation, and it represents the dignity of men and women at the height of that creation. And every Sunday at Mass we capture that when we say, blessed are, or every day at Mass, we capture that when we say, blessed are you, Lord, God of all creation. Through your goodness we have received the bread we offer you. Fruit of the earth and work of human hands, it will become for us the bread of life. Fruit of the earth, your gift, along with the gift of being able to work on the gift. Human industry, human imagination, all of that traces back to gift. And the taking is the active receiving of gifts with awareness. Then Jesus blesses. And in the blessing, what he really does is acknowledge that the gift, that the thing, and the ability to work on it comes from God. God is its source, but also God is its fulfillment. God gave it, And God will enable the gift to reach its most fruitful end. This is to bless in the deepest sense. To say the thing came from God, the person came to God, and in God will find completion. Then, Jesus breaks the bread, by which he indicates that it is not all for him. It is meant to be received by him and then shared. And in doing this, Jesus acknowledges that he is a steward of the gift. He is acting as steward by receiving it, blessing it, and then preparing it for distribution. And then he gives it. And in the giving, he is making visible the charity of the Creator, who gives without strings that others may have life. Take, bless, break, give. If you think of it, the pattern that Jesus follows at Emmaus is the pattern by which he lived his own life. It is how he received the gift of his humanity, acknowledging it as a gift of God to be shared, to be spread out for the good of countless people. And therefore, in the resurrected life that we have begun to live, I recognize this as the pattern by which I handle all of my resources, my talents. I receive them as a gift of God. I acknowledge that in prayer, and I share them. And in the sharing of them, I create relationships. I fulfill in my person the fact of my being made in God's image. And it is also the pattern by which I use myself. Receiving my own self as God's work, giving thanks to him for being myself, and then distributing myself for whatever end the Lord sees fit. In this sense, what I see then is a pattern of handling God's gifts that is the kind of worship for which I am commissioned as a priest, prophet, and king, and made so in baptism. So, this part of the accompaniment of Jesus is that he enables me to worship alongside him in his power and in his likeness, standing before the Father as the steward of the good things God has made. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.